Right now, October of 2025, there's a window of opportunity that exists in the Palm Beach condo market that I don't think is going to exist for long. If you're a buyer or a seller and you don't understand what's going on with pricing, inventory levels, and seasonality, you could be making a big mistake. Today I'm going to show you why the next 90 days matter more than you think and how waiting could be a costly mistake. So are condos and townhomes in Palm Beach County still in that absolute free fall that you keep reading about in the media? Nope. But we're going to get into some data, look at some stuff, and dispel some myths here, shall we? All right, median sold price. If you haven't watched any of my videos before, I largely say just don't pay attention to median sold price. Reason for that is Palm Beach County is way too diverse to make this a measure that you'd want to really put a whole lot of weight into. I mean, we have condos on Palm Beach. We have condos, kind of run right up against 95. We have condos out towards Wellington. They're all crazy different products, and they all sell at crazy different prices. So it makes this unreliable for Palm Beach County. If we had one type of product spread out over one county and it wasn't, really some of the most expensive areas in the nation and average price areas, it would become reliable. But for here, it's not. So look, anyways, 310,000. Let's go back in time a little bit. Here we are. September of 24, 316,000. Does this chart look like the sky is falling to you on pricing? Doesn't to me. If you want to put weight in it, fine. But look, overall back of napkin, you look at this, we've been level for a few years now. Pricing is not all of a sudden plummeting. I'm not buying into it. All right, 914 sales. Let's go back in time. 830 sales. So we're up year over year, right? Is that a surprise to you? Of course, if you've been reading some of the papers, sure it is. Because they say, this is horrible right now. Condo and townhome market in Palm Beach County, blood in the streets. All right, I have pointed out the cyclical nature of sales in Palm Beach County before. I'll point it out again for you. Sales peak March and April. Each and every year. March. April. Sales peak every year, March and April. And before they peaked, where did they come from? January. See, every single year this happens in Palm Beach County. Sales slide. After March, April, sales start to slide down until they catch the bottom, December and January, and then they rebound again. We get this cyclical pattern every single year. So if somebody wants to just look at this and say, wow, look at that. Sales are down since April. Is this the start of a bad trend? No. Seasonality. Happens every year. I point this out to people constantly because I think you need to understand the market around here better. Now, here's the truth of it. If we become more full-time and less second home residences, this chart may change. If you look at a place like Fort Lauderdale, that chart is changing. It's becoming more level. But we're not there. We have a lot of second homeowners and a lot of people that are here, and they're here to buy properties during what months? January, February, March, April, every year. So we're going to slide down. Next month, you're going to see the total number of sales have either they've been flat or likely slid down, and that's what's going to happen. So don't be alarmed by that. Sky's not falling. Sales to list price ratio. This is a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to be honest with you. So what this represents is the discount, if you will, from original listing price, from 100% original listing price the properties are selling for. In this case, let's call it 94%. 6% off original list price. So who wants this number to be lower? Buyers want the number to be lower, right? Means you have more room for negotiation. Sellers, conversely, they want to be up here. They want to be in a world where no matter what price I attach to my property, I throw it on the market and I get 100% of that asking price. You can see since COVID, we've slid down. So what the net effect of this has been is that sellers who are stuck with their feet in the mud and say, I refuse to negotiate, I'm not going to do it. Not the market for that. Just not the market for that. You're going to have to understand that the market now looks like negotiation and likely price reductions. I see it every day. That's just what the market looks like. You're going to have to get comfy and cozy with that if you want to sell your property. And there's a lot of different ways that you can play that. You know, we more than happy to talk strategy with you. You can call me up. It's the easiest way to talk to me, and I can kind of break this down further for you. But here's the bottom line. This is showing that the market's getting a little bit softer underneath the hood, or it's showing that there's a lot of buyers out there, more buyers than last year. They just don't like some of these prices. And they're saying, hey, you know what? I'll step in today and I'll do this deal, but I need an extra 5% off for me to do this deal. I need an extra 10% off. And there's sellers that are okay with that. And that's how we get here on this chart. Median days on market. All right. Median days on market is the days when a property was active until it goes pending sale. This does not account for the time it went pending to closing. So if you're a seller and you want to know, hey, if I put my property on the market, how soon until I get money in my bank account? You're going to have to add 30 or 45 days on the back end of this to find an average amount of days. Who wants higher days on market? Buyers want higher days on market. Sellers, they want to be down here, 10 days on market. You know why? Because somebody sees a property on Monday and they have to make a decision by Friday as to whether they want to put an offer forward on that property. Otherwise, somebody else is going to. 63 days means a month and a half, 2 months ago, you could have seen a property, you could have seen 10 properties, and a whole bunch of them are still on the market. There's no pressure there for a buyer. Buyer knows, I'm pretty much in the driver's seat here. There's only one thing that can change that. That's going to be inventory supply, but we'll get to that. Don't you worry. Median price per square foot. Like median sold pricing, I tell people, don't really pay attention to this. Again, market's too fragmented. You want to ask for $233 a square foot in Jupiter, Palm Beach, something like that. I mean, good luck, man. Have fun. It's not going to work. So that's why I say this isn't something to pay attention to. The only comment I will make on median price per square foot is, look, this hasn't changed. People want a turnkey product. They don't want a DIY project. They're still not going for that. I still have not had a single buyer call me saying, hey, if you can get a discount, I'm really excited to go through a complete reno by myself. No way, man. The HGTV thing is done and gone. Not happening. All right, total dollar volume. I've articulated this in some past videos. There's a couple of things that go into it. First of all, where do these peaks happen? May, March, May, April. Where are the valleys? November, January, November. Same thing as the number of sales, right? They just kind of go along with one another. There's also an added ripple here that the chart can really zigzag for total dollar volume. If the high end decides to take a month off and doesn't want to participate in a given month, it's going to make the chart plummet, even though sales may be stable or rising, just because you don't have those super high end sales that come in and pad this total dollar volume number. All right, folks, time for my favorite statistic, month's supply of inventory. You give me one metric to look at and ask me how a real estate market is doing in a given area, this is the one I want to see. I mean, look, supply and demand. That's what this tells you. Not a whole lot that matters more than supply and demand, right? And you want to know if you're a buyer or a seller, who the market's favoring. Undoubtedly. No question about it. Before I continue, I do want to say this. I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, can you do, within Palm Beach County, I get this overall months of supply thing. I'm with you. I get that it's important, but I'm looking in Boca, or I'm looking in Delray Beach, or I'm looking in Jupiter, or West Palm, or Palm Beach, or Wellington. Can you run a chart for me that shows me just that area? The answer is yes, I can. And because I've been asked it so frequently at this point, I decided to make it into a little PDF that I'm happy to email over to you. So just send me an email, tell me you'd like a copy of that PDF, and I will shoot it back over to you. No harm, no foul. Let's get into it here. So 7.61 months of supply. Look, I want to point this out. Remember when I said back, look at the videos a couple months ago, I said if you're a buyer, this is it. You want to get into the market right here because supply is probably going to start coming down. I'm seeing a lot of people say, hey, listed my home. I didn't get the price that I wanted. Picking up my ball. I'm going home. I don't want to play today. That happened. And look at what happened to the supply line. Came down. Now, let's not be unrealistic. We are still in a buyer's market. Nationally, 6 months of supply is said to be neutral, favoring neither buyers nor sellers. Above 6 months favors buyers. Below 6 months favors sellers. We're still in a buyer's market here. I would much rather represent the buyer of a condo or a townhome in Palm Beach County right now than I would a seller. 100% I'll tell you that. It's easier to work with a buyer to find a deal right now than it is to work with a seller and try to get their property marketed in a short period of time and get them the exact dollar amount out of it that they want. Just easier to be a buyer. So over the last 12 months, our supply is still up by 9%, but look guys, it's coming down. This is me pounding the table, jumping up and down, whatever analogy you want to use to say, if you're a buyer, look at the calendar. It is October. You have until October or November to secure what I feel to be a very favorable deal. Once we hit January, this gets tougher because go back at the charts. You're competing with everybody else. Look at those same charts. We're going to bottom in the next 90 days. So this is where you want to be a buyer, guys. I can't say it enough times. I've had people talk to me about interest rates and say, wait, I'm going to wait until they come down another quarter of a point. And I've explained to them, okay, great, it comes down another quarter of a point, but can I save you $50,000, $100,000 off asking price right now and take that immediate benefit? I mean, I can show you the math. It works out better that way. So that's my plea if you're a buyer looking at a condo or a townhome in Palm Beach County. Look, guys, biggest mistake a buyer can make is overpaying for a property. Biggest mistake a seller can make is leaving money on the table. My clients don't do that. My name is Casey Prindle. My phone number is 786-443-7203. My email is caseyprindle@gmail.com. I would really prefer that you call me because then I can actually talk to you. My most favorite thing would be going to get a coffee or a cocktail with you. If you're brave enough, I'd love to do that. Look, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next month.